G'day guys, and welcome to Local Band Smoke Out Australia. We're going to be doing a pretty exclusive interview. We would love to welcome these boys back. They've been on the stream over a year ago, and they are back. We have Nick and Nathan from Melbourne Heavyweights Atlas. How are you doing today, gents?
Doing very well, man. How about yourself?
Very
Good.
good.
Good to hear, gents. So it's been a while since we actually got the chance to catch up, and there's a lot that's kind of happened. Obviously, you guys have dropped your EP since the last time we spoke, and you've dropped most of them, all of them, if not I'm not mistaken, as singles throughout then. So what's it kind of been like since the last time we spoke? Obviously, you guys have been doing a lot of touring and a lot of that. So how's everything going in your world since you guys have dropped that?
Well, since I last spoke to you guys, that's would have been leading up to the release of the first single, Nazareth. There, so we've already had seven songs in total dropped since I've last spoke to you guys, and it has been definitely not slow in the Atlas camp. It's been very, very busy in terms of release-wise, show-wise. We ended up doing 2 tours last year, a lot of supports, international supports too, which was really cool. It has been non-stop. I feel like I'm missing a lot of things here, but yeah, it has honestly been non-stop.
when you're working so much and doing so many things, it all kind of blurs into one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
It's just
definitely.
like recently.
What were some of the bigger bands that you supported on those tours?
Sorry, what was that question again?
What were some of the bigger bands that you supported on those tours? I know that you played with the Brizzy Boys Dissect a few times.
Yep.
Yeah, the boys.
Yeah, the boys. Well, we played with. So we did a tour with Alienist in February last year, and Dissect opened up the Brisbane show of that tour, and we watched them, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of them, and they were just so good, and we were like, holy fuck, these guys are so fucking heavy.
I was at that show. They fucking slayed.
Yeah, dude. We were all just yeah, we were just like, fuck, these guys are so heavy, bro. Like, we need to do something, because they're just really nice guys as well when we chatting to them and stuff. And we sort of linked up after the show on socials and stuff, and we're just chatting. And then we were talking to Damo and stuff, and we were just like, yeah, let's do a tour. So we ended up doing a tour with them as support. And yeah, we played their Gold Coast release show at the end of last year, which was mad. So yeah, really cool dudes, really cool band.
I would definitely put you guys in that same sort of really, really heavy hardcore vein, and you guys are coming up at the same time. It's awesome that you've got like a band that you can relate to so well.
Absolutely, like they're just as hardworking as we are. Like, I think that's why we get along so well, because we're just basically looking at ourselves like young guys that are just trying really, really hard, and so I think it was just a perfect balance.
They're non-stop workers. They put in so much effort to like their music, and they've only been a band for like 2 years? Less.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years. It's been about that.
Yeah.
Like crazy, the amount of work they've put in, and like the amount of progress they've been able to make as a band in that time. It's pretty crazy. So
you can tell they really want it.
And I do detect that there's a bit of a bromance that's been going on. So obviously, having done a tour with them and come up and played a launch show for them up here, what was some of the stories that came out of touring with those guys? Because obviously you met them, you kind of get along well, and then it's not really until you go on tour with your band and you play a few shows and spend a few nights together. What were some of the stories that came out of that tour for you guys that kind of made it the most memorable? I detect that there's an R-rated version that we can't make public, and I detect that there's a few PG versions.
I'm just trying to think what's appropriate to talk about.
We found out Mucka loves milk. That's probably the most PG one. Damo loves his milk. Paul's.
How did you discover that?
It was like when we were leaving Brisbane to head down to Newcastle, and it was that hot of a day. Like everyone's had about 3 hours sleep,
We're all fucked.
hungover and everything, and everyone's pulling up with like Gatorades, Maximus and stuff, and he walks in with a full bottle of 2-litre milk. I was like, right.
Just straight milk.
Yeah, bro. And by the time we got to Newcastle, that milk was done. He'd finished it. Like, it was fucked. I was like, bro, are you okay?
Is it one of those things where it's you almost the next time, because I'm sure there will be a show with them in the future where there's going to be like the gallon challenge of milk for this dude?
Well, you're putting to work.
Yeah, he just beat everyone. Yeah, we are playing because they're doing that Babarusha tour. We're playing the Melbourne leg, so we'll be able to play a show with them then and hang out with them next month. So that's gonna be good. We're all looking forward to that.
Nice.
Perfect segue.
Yeah, I was literally about to say perfect segue. So you guys do have a show coming up on March 11th at the Stay Gold. How did that show come about for you guys?
Because we played the Gold Coast show at the end of last year, and I know Reese, one of the vocalists of Babarusa from like way back in the day. When I went on a tour, he was like filling in for a band called Tomb of Doom. At the time, we played in Blacktown, so I was filling in for a band called I Valiance. And we met there, and we just hadn't like sort of like we always was friends and stuff, but I hadn't talked to him for years, and he just happened to be at the Dissect show seeing one of the opening acts. He was friends with Jared from Blossom, and I was like, dude, I haven't seen you in ages, you know, like what's going on? And he's like, oh yeah, just haven't seen Blossom and stuff, and what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, I'm in Atlas now, you know. And he checked us out and came up to me afterwards and was like, you guys are sick and stuff, and we were just sort of chatting after that online and stuff. And I asked him if they had anything coming up, because I heard whispers from Damo of Dissect of what was happening, and Reese hit me up and was like, we'd love you guys to play. So
nice.
That's how that happened.
Congratulations. It's a killer bill. Those Babarusa guys have just like shot to the stars, hey?
Yeah. Those guys are sick. They're such a heavy band.
Oh, hell yeah. Brutal as fuck.
Brutal.
Yeah. The one thing I did want to ask too, gents, is because as you guys said, you've had a lot of shows. You've released 7 singles since the last time we spoke. For those people that don't know, the EP where you will find these singles on is The Wound, The Blade. Obviously, when you're in the process of writing it and, you know, building it before all of these great things can happen after it, with the response from the album, did it hit in the way that you guys intended it to? Did it get the response that you wanted out of people? If not, what were some of the surprising responses that you guys did get from that EP?
I mean, for me, honestly, like I had some expectations, but I think from whatever happened with this, sort of blew it out of the water for me. Like I knew it was going to do well, but I didn't think it was going to do like this well. So it was like even just in sort of like on like the Twitch platforms and that too, and like the amount of people that were actually going out of their way and filming like reaction videos and things like that, which is like something I would have never thought people would take the time out of the day to actually like film themselves reacting to like our music. And then getting people like Nick Nocturnal was a big help for him picking us up, and then been able to like every new release day, like when he was doing his streams, like he'd have hosts like Darius from Spite, Garrett from Silent Planet, Travis from Amure, like all those guys were like checking out all our songs every time we were releasing a new track. So to be able to be put in front of people like that and getting spread all over the internet like that, it just, I would have never expected anything like that to happen. So
what was one of the more, because obviously with every release comes its criticism, what was one of the most interesting critiques of that EP that you guys got?
I reckon it'd be Comethazine. 100% was the one that, like we always got positive comments and stuff, but it's like, there was some like bullshit with a band over in America with the whole comethazine sort of thing, and they got their little posse and was trying to say all this sort of stuff that we apparently ripped it off, but never heard of this band. Like they released this, like this song they released was like 7 years ago, and yeah, never heard of these dude at all. It was only the fact that they'd literally gone out of their way and like commented on our Instagram video, and then got a little posse to do it, and then
Wow.
once I heard it, I was like, all right, I can hear a kind of a similarity, but it's only just because it's the riff pattern in that breakdown is so simple. It's not exactly.
It's like everybody's written this before, dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, dude, it's heavy music, man. Like, is every
How many different ways can we play Zero?
Yeah, it's like, is every two-step part like, you know, copying another two-step part?
Dude,
like
that drum pattern, that's mine.
Yeah, like, oh, we own singing. There was like they were trying to say we own singing in breakdowns, and we were just like, dude, like you're not the only band that's done it. Like, you know.
But speaking of breakdowns,
we never ever claimed that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to say, speaking of breakdowns, probably one of the most heavy, brutal breakdowns I think I've ever heard in my entire existence does come in Nazareth, where it's the punching cunts is what I call it breakdown. It's just like punching cunts, punching cunts. Like it's fucking. It's fucking brutal, man. And I gotta say, like it had such a good blend of very melodic guitaring, and even from yourself, Nathan, I kind of feel like you were just the biggest dick tease when it came to dropping smooth like clean vocals to like harsh cleans, and then it was like a good 20 to 80%. And I've got to ask, being where you guys are at now, you've dropped it. Are you guys working on new material at the moment?
We're always working on new material.
Yeah.
we're always working on new material. It's like kind of at that point now where, I mean, it was even like before this record too. Like we had so much in the way of demos and ideas and stuff. It's at that point now where we're sort of having to like sit through and go, these are the ones we want to pursue with, and these ones are sort of throwaways. That's the sort of situation we're at now, is now finding the best and saying this is what we want to continue with.
Yeah.
And what's the approach that you guys are taking with this? Because it's, as a band, you always want to kind of step up what you did last time. So are you guys exploring some more of the melodic elements that you did in the last one, or are you trying to go heavier? What's the general approach to the new material?
And how does it differ from the previous one?
Beautiful.
That's a good question.
Well, for me anyway, like we have definitely sat down and spoke about this quite a lot, about what we want to do now, because we've in the first EP, like Memoir, was sort of, we just, you know, dipping our toes in the water, and now this is sort of like this last record's now we're past that discovery stage now, and this is sort of like what we want. So now it's that tricky stage of trying to expand on it. But yeah, I know when I've been trying to do writing and stuff like that, I get carried away and almost sort of lose where I was going at, so then I circle back and then start again. But for me personally anyway, like I would like to explore the melodic side, like when you're hearing like songs like Kodo Kushi and stuff like that, where there's like that melodic sort of ambience going on in the back ends, even though it is still balls to the wall heavy. I would definitely like to sort of explore that a little bit, just to keep that diversity going, because like, don't get me wrong, I love heavy music, but it is definitely nice to have a good, healthy sort of a blend and all that there, so you got that variety going, so it doesn't just feel like it's the same song
100%.
one after the other.
Yeah, it's definitely something
like those ambient synthetic elements really do set bands apart as well.
Yeah,
like everybody's got their heavy as breakdowns and stuff like that. It's the stuff that it enforces it and makes it, like, gives it its own flavor that really sets you apart.
Yeah, that's
100%.
exactly right. Like when I first came into Atlas, I was like, what makes Atlas Atlas? It's like, yeah, we're heavy as fuck in certain parts, but then we bring it back to that, and we can be melodic and emotional in certain parts as well, which, you know, sort of balances it up. And just, yeah, I just really love that about our band. So that's something we want to like push on both fronts. Like, so that we want to like explore like the melodic part as well in certain bits, but like also maybe get a little bit heavier as well. So we'll see what happens.
And I've
I
got.
mean, we are in drop F now, so I don't know how much lower we can really go. But
Challenge
I want to
accepted.
explore my heavier vocals a little bit more in certain bits as well, because I definitely have a lot more range than what I showed on the EP when I was fresh coming into the band. So,
which is a big thing I wanted to ask. Like, you came into these guys, and they'd gone through a couple of singles in the past. You know, sorry, singers, not singles. With a couple of singles as well. And then you kind of slotted in, and it just kind of it worked. It just, all the pieces just fit out of nowhere. So since you first joined to where you are now, now being a full season member of Atlas, how do you find yourself as a vocalist? How have you changed in this time being in the band?
I don't know, like, definitely, because I was sort of obviously working off the old songs and like how the old vocalists had done songs and stuff, and like I was like, okay, this is the sort of sound Atlas is, and I have that sort of yelly and like the lows and stuff. But I've found, especially during our live performances, I like to make it a lot heavier vocally. I don't know if that comes off in the right way.
Interpreting the older stuff, you wanted to stay true to that, but when you perform it live, you add your heavier flavor to it. Is that what you're saying?
I find it's funner. Like, it's more fun to just be like, chuck, a little like pig squeal in there and stuff. Like, just like someone that's listened to us on a record and then comes and sees us live. I don't want them to see and hear exactly what's on a record. I want them to be like, oh fuck, these guys are like way heavier and like more diverse than I thought they were. I like that, and I like getting that feedback of like, whoa, your vocals are like way heavier than I thought they were, sort of thing. So yeah, that's just something I've been exploring in the last sort of year as being in the band, and obviously touring and stuff and playing lots of shows. But yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely does, man. Definitely.
Finding a heavier voice within the old material.
Yeah, for sure. Like when we play some
new stuff.
Yeah, when we play some stuff off like Memoir, for example, when we play those songs live, I think just the way I sing those songs, I make them a lot heavier than they were when I came into the band.
And I feel like that's a tricky thing for a vocalist to come in and have a previous repertoire that they had nothing to do with.
Oh, for sure.
That'd be like as a drummer, it's a bit easier for me and Nick, for example, to join into a project because it's like, oh cool, we can play it, we can add our little bits, but I feel like we're the ones that are the timekeepers in the back. Like, you're the one that people pay attention to. So yeah,
for sure. Like I say it all the time, like drums change a song, like the way someone plays drums, but also vocals definitely change a song, like
100%.
So like I still mess around at practice and do songs in different ways just to see if it works, and like I'll every time you see us, it'll be probably a little bit different because I'll be like, oh, I found this way I like to do it better. But
have you ever done something where you do it and you're like, oh, that sounds cool, and you look around and you're just getting the biggest what the fuck look from the rest of the guys?
Yes.
Yes. Me and Borky do that all the time because we sort of like in some of the singing parts we like to harmonize sometimes and stuff like that and play off each other. And sometimes, like a couple of weeks ago, we did something, and me and Borthy was like, "That sounds sick," and Steve just looked at us like, "That sucks. Don't do that."
Feel bad.
So you look at Steve and then you're like, "Fuck you, Steve. You don't know what the
Like,
fuck you're talking about, man."
Just go play guitar and be a rat somewhere else, bro.
Oh, sweet. Luke, have you got any other questions for the lads?
Yeah, man. So yeah, congratulations again, guys, on The Wound and the Blade. You guys just hit 1 million streams the other week. Huge congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thanks, man.
I would also like to say, just on a personal note, that you guys are one of my favorite discoveries that I ever found from local band Smokeout. That The Wound and the Blade is one of the most innovative EPs that I heard last year, and yeah, you should be extremely proud. I'm looking forward to everything that you're doing in the future. One thing I did want to touch on though is the presets cover, My People. How did you go about that? First of all, how did you choose to do a cover of an Australian dance classic, and how did you turn that into an Atlas song?
All right, so well, the whole thing started. It was because it was part of a charity compilation record. So there was like a heap of bands. I think they're all Victorian bands. I think was just anyway. I got approached and said, "Hey, we're doing a vinyl for compilation, kind of doing like the Pop Goes Punk sort of thing."
Sick.
And all those were going up to Beyond Blue, and we got approached, and I knew none of the boys would have an issue with doing this because we always spoke about doing something like that, just a bit of fun. And yeah, to decide the song itself, like honestly, like it would have taken a good 2 months to actually fully decide on what we wanted to do, because we were trying to go through it and be like, is this song touchable? Like, are we making it too hard of a job to try and do this song or do this song? And then we approached it on all different ways. Like I was looking at old classic sort of songs. Borthy was looking up TikTok songs, things like that. So we were sort of trying to figure out which would be the best way to go about it. And then I think I'd mentioned to Nathan about, what if we do a presets cover, do something a bit different, because we sort of already saw the list of all the other songs that the bands were doing. I said, let's branch out a little bit and try doing a dance song. And we mentioned it to the other boys, and they were saying yeah, 100%, let's do this. In terms of the recording side of it, I unfortunately wasn't able to be there because I had to work away. Nathan and the rest of the boys were there when we did the recording side of it. But I reckon when we were even just trying to pull apart the track, where there's all the synth parts, trying to integrate that into our version, I reckon Fitzy spent weekends and weekends trying to pull it apart and get everything spot on. So it wasn't an easy task to be able to turn My People into a heavy track like that.
Yeah.
I reckon there was about 15 different versions before we said, yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then to get in there and just
well, he's absolutely nailed it. The introduction of the synthetic elements from the original song, that you did it perfectly. They kind of came in a lot more towards the end, when the guitars dropped away and everything, and yeah, just fucking nailed it. Well done.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that I only made those from scratch, the synthetic stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because we recorded with him, that one. Yeah, I don't know how he made it, but
working with him on our next stuff.
Yeah, dude, sick. He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's great to work with.
Have fun.
Awesome dude. Yeah, we're playing around. I think he said he put a dolphin in the synth or something, dolphin noise or something, made it from that. Because we were talking about how Teardrops by Brimming Horizon has that elephant sample in it. In the synthy sort of bit. And I was he was like, how am I gonna make this? Should I just, what sound should I make? And I was like, just use a dolphin, bro. So I think he might have used a dolphin. I don't actually know, but he spent a bit of time making that, and it sounds sick.
I'll ask him about it.
Yeah, ask him. He probably doesn't even fucking remember. Yeah.
Dude just never stops.
He never stops. He's always doing shit. So
yeah, a big thing was definitely trying different things too. We down tune a shitload in that song. I think there's one part in the chorus bit, it's in drop F, and then all of a sudden just for a slide, and then another bar, and then it goes down to C1. It's just going to mud, and knowing Ione, pitching those ideas, he's not going to say no. So he's yeah, right, let's do it. I'm down.
Yeah. The hardest part was figuring out how to do it vocally, I think, because it's just so unnatural to try and take a song like that and then do it in the metalcore sort of style. It's so weird, and I think I spent a few hours trying to figure out even just how to do the first line. And then when I figured it out, I was like, oh, that's it, sort of thing. You'll do it like that. So
Kind of set the
Yeah,
tone for the rest of the song.
yeah,
Yeah.
Trying to emulate Old Mate from the presets. He's got a very unique voice. So
it's super
it.
weird.
Have they ever reached out to you about the cover? Do you reckon they've heard it?
I don't know. I did purposely tag him a few times, like when we dropped it or not.
I
But I
know
never
whoever runs their socials saw it, because it was
Yeah.
like, how you tag someone on Instagram and then you can see if they've seen the tag or whatever, like in
Yeah.
your inbox. Yeah, whoever runs their socials definitely saw it. I don't know if they actually got shown it, but yeah.
Well, let's get a campaign. Let's get a campaign going. Let's get the presets and Atlas to do a collab live.
Oh boy, that'd be fun.
I'd be down.
Yeah. Oh, dude. If you said no to that, man, I'll be telling you to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, right.
You're a fucking national treasure, man. Anyway.
Fucking oath. So I remember like seeing that, like when we decided we're going to do that song, I was like, yeah, I remember seeing that song on like video hits on like Saturday morning when I get up, It's the fucking music video with like the
the different masks and shit. Like,
the masks, and it's like all delayed and stuff.
yeah.
All the trippy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all trippy and stuff. That's a sick music video.
Fuck yeah. Fucking mean. Well, have you got any other questions, Luke?
I do, yeah. Well, yeah, sick music videos. Something that really, really moved me was the video for I think it was Synthetic Heaven, with I think it's the dad and the kid, and it's a really, really heavy video. How did you decide to do that concept, and what was the whole video process like?
So the whole concept for that clip is goes with the story that's behind the song. So that was already easy for me to do, because like when I wrote that song, that's coming from like my real life experience with losing my grandfather. Just that would have been just as we released Memoir. Like we'd always been super close. Like I'm a real family sort of person, so like I'm always really close to my family. And that particular weekend, we played a show on a Sunday, and at that time, when I was an apprentice, I was still working away a lot. So basically, I'd just be home for weekends to do shows and whatever else, and then I'm off again for the week. And I came home on that Sunday, and I was meant to catch up with him, and it was too late, and I just said, "Oh, hey, sorry, I'll catch up with you when I get back." And unfortunately, he died the next day.
Oh, man.
He died, like no pre-existing health conditions or anything like that. Just died in his sleep the next day. And so when I wrote that song, that's like everything is like talking about what I was going through and how I was feeling at the time when I wrote that. And so when we approached Colin to do the video, like I already said to him, like I've got a concept and everything ready to go. I just need to figure out where I'm going to do it and when, basically. So we ended up filming that in Sydney. We all drove up and for a weekend and filmed that at I can't remember where exactly we filmed that in Sydney.
What's that?
It's a massive they're massive warehouses, and they're all completely like fitted out to be different like set locations and stuff like that. So it's props in Sydney is what it's called. And yeah, there's like 9-10 different warehouses, and they're all like, you'll go like when you walk into one warehouse, there'll be one that's like a broken down house, and then there's like a 1940s gym, then like a safari and a hospital, like, and a schoolroom. So like when we filmed that Synthetic Heaven video, like we literally just picked up, moved a couple of meters to the next set, moved a couple of meters to the next set. So like, because I think for that clip in particular, there's the hospital scene, schoolroom,
The room we play in.
The room we play in, the decrepit house, and then there's like the ballroom, and then there's the other room where like the acting's filmed, when it's the child and the grandfather, where they're like drawing and playing. So yeah, there's about 6 or 7 different sets we set up throughout that day. And
and it was all in one building.
Yeah.
It's all in one building. It was a one day.
That's so surreal.
It's absolutely incredible setup.
Wow.
Yeah. It was actually really cool.
So yeah, that's like, that whole song is just talking about like, make the most of the time you've got with friends or family, because you just really don't know when it's gonna be the last time you'll get to see him. So that's the whole story behind that clip and that song.
Mm,
You heard it here first, guys. Hug your loved ones.
That's it. That's exactly right.
damn
Don't
straight.
take it for granted.
Well, gents, I always like to end interviews on this question, and I always like to spring it on people. So, if you guys could go back and relive any show that you have played in the past, whether it be with Atlas or another band, what show would you go back and relive, and why?
Fuck.
Okay.
So you're an asshole.
Always, man.
Fucking dog. That's a hard one. I've played so many shows.
For some reason, I automatically think of something like bad that I did, but I'm like, oh, could I have done better here?
Yeah.
You want to go back and fix something, not relive it at the moment.
One of my old bands played at Next with Chelsea Grin, which was really, really fucking cool. I wish I was less nervous so I could have taken in the moment more. I was shitting myself. I wish I was in a better band as well. Yeah, that was pretty sick. That was a really good show.
Yeah, nice.
I reckon for me would be, and Nathan will remember this one. It was like in the heat of COVID, we put this show on. And it was like reduced capped, and we like this was before like I think restrictions had just sort of kicked in again, so it made it even harder. And like,
was this my first show?
Yeah, this is your first show.
I don't know. We don't talk about that show.
Anyway, no, we're going there. So we're like, right, it's our first show with Nathan. Let's go big. Let's go big. So like, we put a bit extra money in for lights. So we had like real good lighting going on. There was like strobes and flashes all on the back, more strobes than that along the front, but they were pointing towards us. And as the breakdown for Broken Bonds kicks in, where it's like that broken bonds never heal the same, Nathan's just been like flashbanged by a strobe, and he's come flying back, taking the whole kit down with me, and I'm like cradling him like a child while I'm still playing, and been like, "You good? You good?"
I looked straight into the lights. I could not see shit. I was just like, I was like halfway through stepping back at the same time. There was only like, I don't know, a meter or so between the front foldback and the kit, and I just stepped onto the kit, the front of the drum kit, and just lost my footing and just went straight into Klaz's lap, took out half the kit. Yeah. I'd like to redo that show if possible, go back in time and redo it, because
that was like the first time we played Broken Bonds live too. So it was like, thank God no one knew the song. And I'm just like
surely everyone in the room surely thought I was like blind drunk or something. Like
I was blind, not drunk, but I was just blind.
I was blind. Yeah. Oh man, it was so embarrassing. But
I've still got the video of that too. So
yeah, dude, it's a good one.
Yeah, because we got like someone to set up a GoPro and like film the whole set. So it's just like you see him on the fallbacks, and then 2 seconds later, after flashing's gone, he's just in my arms.
Bro, I fucked myself up real good too. Like, a drum kit is not soft.
No,
like, if anyone's wondering, like, it's not fucking soft to like land your whole body through. Like, I had bruises all up the left side of my body. It was fucked.
How did you recover after that?
I just slowly sort of got up. I was still. I don't think I missed like 2 lines, and then I finished the rest of the song. And I think Darcy. Yeah, I was like, well, that was awkward. Anyway. This is the next song.
Shit, that's
I just
great.
kept playing. I didn't stop. I just kept playing. So I've got like 2 dudes like fixing all the cymbal stands back up because they're all just folded back in.
I think the good thing also was the lights were that nuts that a lot of people didn't even fucking notice. Like, because they couldn't hardly see anyway. Like, I was like, I talked to a lot of people afterwards, and I was like, because I was so dirty on it. I was like, fuck, this is my first show. I fucked up so hard. Like, these guys are going to be like, what the fuck have we got ourselves into? This guy sucks. All the fans are going to be like, this guy sucks. And then I got off stage and like pretty much everyone I talked to was like, oh, you fell? Like, what? I didn't even see that. Like, the lights were so crazy. So, you know, that just proves that like you can think something is a massive deal sometimes and just no one else even fucking notices. So
Yeah, exactly. Look, at least you didn't piss on a fan on stage, man. So, you know, that's very noticeable, very hard to
That's
miss.
very true.
Yeah.
The
So-
way I see it is, he set the bar low enough so when we play the next show, just below people.
bro, it's been all uphill from there. Like, just all uphill.
It's a good way to set the tone for the rest of it, man. That's fucking sick.
Exactly.
Well, boys, we're gonna wrap that one up today, gents. As we are about to kick off into a stream with you, gents, as well. So, look, thank you so much for taking the time. Is there anything you quickly want to plug before we let you guys join us for a stream?
We have merch up on our merch site that is, I think it's still all on sale. We have tour shirts and stuff that are pretty cheap, and vinyls and everything. So that's on our Artist First page, which you can find in our Instagram bio through our link tree and all that sort of stuff. It's pretty easy to find if you just look up on our socials.
Very limited numbers and sizes, so we want that going because we have new stuff coming in very soon. So
yeah, and once we print something, we print one run of it and then it's gone. So once it's gone, so get on it. But there's bucket hats and shirts and some sick hoodies and stuff. So go have a look and get yourself some goodies.
We got the lot.
Yeah. And don't forget to grab tickets for the Babarusa show on March 11 at Stay Gold, Melbourne.
Exactly. It's going to be a
Do
killer.
it. Get on it, cunt. All right. Oh, sorry, there was one more. What were you going to say?
I was going to say it's just 5 big bands, so it's going to be a good night. So
she's going to be a cracker. All right, gents. Well, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with the show, and stay tuned.